Hey y'all, I'm back. I told you I was coming back for real this time. So I'm keeping my word, okay? We're going to talk about the shadow work. We're going to talk about the dark night of the soul. And for me, it was when the two met. Now, initially when it first started to happen and I started to dig deep and find out what these things were called, was it just me going through this? Was I going absolutely insane? Was I tapping into mental health issues that I've never experienced before? I mean, it was just all these questions I had. And so I started to dig and dig and dig. And that's when my understanding of shadow work came. And then I started to dig more. And then Dark Night of the Soul came. And I was like, oh yeah, this is what this is. Okay. First, I think I should do it justice by explaining what Dark Night of the Soul is. So I've explained what's been going, because people be like, what's going on with you? Where you been, blah, blah, blah. And you say, oh, I've been through a dark night of the soul. Some people will be like, oh, and some people will be like, huh? So for those who've never heard of it, don't know what it is, or feel like they may be on the verge of going through this, the written definition per Google is it's a spiritual crisis in the journey towards your union with God. Another definition is it's personal development when a person undergoes a difficult and significant transition to a deeper perception of life and their place in it. And when I read that, I was like, oh, that is a complete and very eloquent way of saying WTF, okay? Much of the time, a dark night of the soul period, phase, whatever you want to call it, is sparked by a catalyst. And usually what I've found, and in my case, the catalyst is a loss. It could be a loss of a loved one, of something that really kind of defined you in a way, or it defined your existence or your place in the world, your purpose, or so you felt. Mine was sparked by the catalyst of identity and in terms of profession, okay? And something that I have been doing since I was in Korea, actually, I started to do as a profession, and I just got to the point where I was like, nope, that's not it. And what I will note is that a lot of these changes were not sparked by me. Okay, if anybody is familiar with the tarot, it is a complete tower moment in multiple areas of your life. And so what that means is that outside forces, God, okay, spirit, is moving some stuff around because you have gotten too far off the path for too long without recognizing it. And so it's kind of like I was thrown off the path that I thought I was straight, I was cool in. My dark night of the soul period, shadow work period, lasted 6 weeks. And it's funny because when I experienced PTSD coming out of the shadow work and the dark night, because during it, right, you're in this mental space, this emotional space where you feel like you are in hell. You are in the depths. You don't know left from right. You don't know why you exist. You don't know where you're going. You don't know who to trust. There are so many things that make you feel like you have just been thrown into the abyss. And you're like, bruh. And so there were days where you felt lighter. You felt like you were coming out of it. And you were hopeful, and then the very next day you were right back into the energy. So you couldn't really get excited when you felt a lighter day. So when the time had come where I was truly coming up out of it, I had PTSD because I couldn't really get happy or feel relief or get excited because I didn't know if this was just a trick or just an energetic shift momentarily. It is so it's so hardcore. It's so hardcore. I mean, some of the questions I was asking myself was like, why am I here? What am I doing? Like, looking at past relationships and seeing my role in it. And that's where the shadow work comes, because I've had some very tumultuous relationships. I'm gonna just keep it all the way 5,000. I'm gonna keep it all the way 5,000. I have had some extremely tumultuous and traumatic relationships, while I have also had a very traumatic childhood that led me to a lot of beliefs about myself, a lot of beliefs about the world, and they have thus attracted these traumatic relationships into my life. So during this dark night of the soul, I was confronting all of that. I was confronting motherhood. I was confronting life purpose. I was confronting, you know, a health issue that came out of nowhere that put me in the ER. I mean, I was confronting, I got COVID at the very beginning of it. It was just, bruh. I say it was 6 weeks because I'll say it was 6 weeks in the trenches, but there was about 2 to 3 months leading up to it. And I didn't know anything about this because I have never experienced this before. It had never come to the time where I needed to do a dark night of the soul. You know, it's like, okay, you've been off your path for too long. Low-key, your soul contract says that it's now time for you to transition and to ascend and to evolve. So let's go. And it was, I mean, it was horrible. I'm not even gonna hold you. It was horrible. One of the main catalysts, or one of the main issues that I had to confront and really dive deep into was, like I said, was my motherhood. And it led me to realize, you know, there are some things that you don't know about your family. Like, you need to learn some stuff about your family. And so when we talk about generational curses and generational trauma, that's where that all comes in. And so I'm probably going to do a separate video on that, but that was definitely one of the turning points within my shadow work that really allowed me to really have a full mental understanding of what had been passed down to me and understand my conditioning a little bit better. The dark night of the soul period, it's such a vulnerable place, and it's such an isolating place. And when you emerge from it, I say it's essentially you are being reborn in the same body with the same people around who are used to you being a certain type of way. So it makes it very tricky and delicate coming out, because when you finally come out, you're like, bruh, I've done all this work. Listen, I have gone to the depths of hell. Okay. And now I'm coming out as a brand new ass person, and whoever doesn't like fall in line with this new energy gets scrapped, period. Because the level of work that you do on yourself, you are unwilling to compromise for anybody. I came out of it with boundaries, which I had never had in my life because of conditioning and stories and beliefs and attachments and, you know, all of these things, these experiences, these events that I've gone through thus far in life. So I came out with boundaries, and some of these boundaries were met with, I mean, like perplexities and confusion and like, what? And so you're completely new. So you come out and there's a little bit of fear. There's a little bit of anxiety of how are people going to receive this. Can't lie, that happened to me. It was like, okay, I'm ready. Like, I've done so much. I know so much. I feel so much. I feel aligned. Because that's really the whole goal, is to be in alignment with source, with God, with the creator. But that's your whole goal, is to be in alignment. And when you come out and you feel like, bruh, I am so, this is a whole new world for me. You're so excited, but then there's a fear. And that's you still having inklings of ego. And when you reach the point where your fear of not being in alignment because of your fear is greater than your fear of judgment, is when you push through, and you win. That's where you initially go when you emerge from this dark night. And I was faced with it, and finally I just had to say, oh well, this is what it is. And if anybody doesn't agree, it doesn't match, it's too far off, they start labeling and judging, then everybody can leave. Everybody can leave. I'm also grateful to the Most High, to Source, the ancestors, the angels, the guides, the protectors, for watching over me and my daughter and my family. I will say, and I talk about it in my ebook, I created an ebook while I was in the dark night of the soul. So Shadow Compass is the ebook. I created this during my dark night, during my shadow work. So none of this work, none of these words are cap. These are actually things that I did and used to help me make it through, because as I talk about in the book, there were thoughts of the lowest of the low that you could have in life, right? That came up multiple times for me during this journey of dark night, of shadow work. And these tools that are in this book really helped me to push through, you know, and really helped me to realize the importance of what I was going through, as well as the purpose and the importance that I had in the world once I made it through. During dark night, you know, if you've ever gone through dark night and it was your first time, because I've read people go through that multiple times in life, I couldn't even imagine. But it's something where you're such in a seeking place. You're trying to find any type of answer, any type of sign. You're reading everything, you're watching everything. I mean, you are desperately seeking help, right? And I know if I came across an ebook or book or whatever during this phase, this journey in my life, I snatched it up, period. And so the goal for Shadow Compass is to be a resource for people who have found themselves in this space of dark night of the soul and shadow work and are completely lost. Like, I don't even know. First of all, I don't even know what's going on. Okay. Second of all, did I do this to myself? Third of all, what is this? Fourth of all, what do I need to do? There's things in here about generational trauma, generational curses, inner child healing, astrological understandings, which speak about life purpose, certain affirmations, certain triggers. I mean, it's very well rounded because this is honestly what I used. So I'm very proud of it. I'm happy that Spirit told me start writing. Like that's the only thing that I think I did besides lay in the bed. I mean, it from the outside in, it looks like you're so lazy. It looks like you could low-key be depressed. It looks like you're very neglectful. It looks like it just you get put in a very bad light according to societal standards and norms and expectations. But people don't really realize like you're really going through something that is extremely ripping and transformative and painful. It's extremely painful to go through a dark night of the soul and shadow work. It's very hard, and it takes a very strong soul, strong mental capacity, strong, you know, prayer and beliefs, and strong faith. I mean, it takes a lot, you know. Take it one day at a time, right? And stay very much grounded in your faith, which also may change. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. It's so tricky and it's so individual. I really want to get that across. Like, this is your journey to getting into soul alignment, spirit alignment. And if you've been functioning in your life thus far, very 3D, very material, very functioning off of things that aren't true, things that you've told yourself in the subconscious, and that's how you've been projecting into the world, acting in the world, attracting from the world, you are going to have your socks knocked off. And it's going to be painful. But I will say the other side of it is beautiful. Self-discovery is very eye-opening, and in many ways it can be very refreshing. This was my I guess brief recap of my dark night of the soul shadow work period. Again, if you are interested or feel like you are looking for any type of help or resource or tool or anything, like anything, I understand you. That's why I created Shadow Compass. So Shadow Compass might be for you. The link is in the description. And you know, I wish you much success. That's really what I send you. I send you lots of healing and success. And I say keep going, and be easy on yourself. Do not be hard on yourself. Do not blame yourself or judge yourself or allow others to do that to you. Okay? So if you have gone through this, let me know in the comments. I am very interested in knowing what the collective has experienced. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.